Welcome back to the Platypus podcast. My name is Aidan. I'm joined here by Brian, Alex, and our resident girlfriend expert, Joven. Today we're going to be talking about Counter-Strike, things and information that maybe you already know, our opinions on CS2, and Alex, if you'd like to take it away.
Yeah, they'll probably already know most of what we're talking about, honestly.
And skins. Very big skins.
Very true.
Look, the things we talked about in this episode will most certainly date when this episode was recorded, which is when you're watching it. So
This will be coming out after Counter-Strike 2 has been released.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing we could talk about is, I guess, sort of the background that come into from CS. Like most of us have all played CS for a long time now, and yeah. Well,
right.
First a bit about Joven. What do you
do other than have a girlfriend?
Not a lot, man. I opened too many CS:GO cases. I gamble way too much, and like 1,000 of my 2,000 hours is just surf and be observers.
Look, honestly, that's like if you never played CS and haven't surfed, like you're not really playing Counter-Strike.
I have never surfed.
Oh, well, yeah.
I've never surfed. No.
You actually never surfed.
I might have like once, but like I don't think it substantially counts. Other than like that shit on Overpass, if that counts.
Oh, like the side ramp there.
If that counts as surfing, and then there was that like one ESL map that they had where it had like the thing from like car on Dust 2 all the way to.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that like counts as like professional.
I mean, look,
surfing.
interestingly enough, you bringing up surfing and Overpass is actually a very interesting point because as of recording this podcast, the day of, it's been like a week since the new Overpass came out on CS2. Yeah, so I guess really quick, what do you guys think of the new remake? I personally love the remake. I think it looks.
Seen a lot of it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of lighting overhauls. We have graphic overhauls. We could probably like pull up a single picture of it, but like it's like a lot of people are complaining because it's not. Some people don't see a change at all when it's really just the biggest thing that's happening is probably like all the structure code.
Well, they moved the
all...
position of the sun. That was pretty big.
We know your opinions on the.
No, like seriously, like the sun has like completely changed positions. So
yeah, wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, did they change any of the actual locations other than?
No, there's
They
no
made a
like
lot
new
bigger.
locations. It's just
This
like
was a rework map too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did find it kind of interesting that this was labeled as a rework map, and this being Overpass, but like it's a rework map, but nothing on the map actually changed locations.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I think the biggest change I would argue that they made would be they changed the back position from like I don't even know what to call it. It's that long position, in that corner. Where it's where they've got like, well, it's now ticket. I'm assuming that's what everybody's going to call it. Is ticket is because it's a. I mean, it's kind of like a ticket booth, and it's.
Yeah,
it's behind the.
It's
bathroom.
like Mirage's ticket.
Yeah, but it's like it's like Mirage's ticket booth if you can even count it as a ticket booth because it's more of like a wall. Yeah. It's like wall. I didn't even know it was like a ticket booth until after the call out ticket I didn't understand until maybe like 4 years ago.
Yeah. I just learned ticket from the expression just because the smoke that you could throw the one way is you'd have to throw it onto the cash register. And
there's a cash
register.
There's a cash register. I did not even know there was a cash register.
And if you land the smoke right on the top of the cash register, you jump up to the top, and that's how the one way works. So
I didn't even know that.
But one ways aren't a thing anymore. Now that Source 2 is out.
Yeah. There's a few one ways you can throw. Like you have to get really creative with them, but like there's.
But are they really like one ways?
There's like a. I mean, I can find it on Reddit. There's like a genuine like one way that I've seen on like Nuke, I think, or what is it? CS2 do one way.
I think what the issue though with the Overpass overhaul is it's. I think this is like a big issue. This especially even came up on Vertigo, and I was thinking about this a lot.
Oh yeah, because Vertigo was paired with that.
Yeah, Vertigo was in that change. Vertigo with the big CS2 changes that are being made with lighting and changes to shadows and all that sort of stuff. They're running a huge risk of unintentional like side effects from that. Like the big thing on Vertigo was on the A-bomb site when you walk through, your shadow just projects right onto the wall.
Yeah.
So people can you don't even need like to check that. You just check if there's like a thing there, and then you can like basically check if you see a shadow there, way before they come, like maybe 5-6 seconds before they even make it to that position.
I mean,
I think with an issue with the new like engines and new lighting and all that sort of stuff, they're creating a lot of worrying side effects that could come up. Also, I'm wearing sunglasses, and I think that the map actually looks great with sunglasses on. I might play Counter-Strike with sunglasses on from now on.
But bringing up what you kind of said with that, though, is, like, I get that shadows are a big issue right now, and I think they definitely do have some stuff to work out with the whole thing and stuff. But, I mean, when you go outside and the sun is, we'll say, like, just, it's right above you, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have, like, a pretty long shot.
Yeah, but
CSGO players don't go outside.
yeah, I've got no experience with that. But the thing is I think for the genre of being a tac shooter, I don't think you need necessarily, like, accurate shadows. I like CSGO had baked in shadows. And even then you still had very basic shadows on your character, but I think like the projecting shadows based on the way lighting interacts with you are something that I don't think were necessarily needed. And so, I mean, it's a completely different subject, but Valorant knew all of the information that Counter-Strike had because they had worked with that engine and they had all that sort of stuff. They've been producing the game. So the fact that they fumbled the bag even with all that information is kind of surprising.
Valorant fumbled the bag, not CSGO.
Yeah. But I'm saying with CS2, they're stepping into uncharted waters, which is new lighting, new terrain, new coloring, new physics, bullets, smoke systems, completely different rendering stuff versus Counter-Strike's, which has been building for 20 years. So they run the risk, I think, of completely running into like new changes and breaking things that like look at this. Have you like seen like when Half-Life first came out? Like Half-Life had a lot of like physics things that were like new.
Yeah.
But then people discovered like you could like put a box under you and use the gravity gun to just shoot yourself up. Like that's stuff that like they've like worked out I think later on and stuff. But it's stuff that like when you do your in-house testing, you never find the stuff that people, when you release to millions of people, what they discover. So I think Counter-Strike is running a huge risk right now with that, and it's a very bold move that's either going to pay off really well or it's going to pay off really poorly.
I think, honestly, the addition of the more realistic shadows adds a new element to the gameplay that's worthy of a sequel. Right, because a lot of the other, they're not changing a whole lot going from CS1 to CS2 in terms of map design, gunplay, how the game actually works. Yeah. So, in order to really call it a sequel, I feel like you really need some kind of addition, some kind of change that differentiates it from the previous game. I mean, we get a little bit of we got a massive lighting upgrade, but we didn't get a huge graphical overhaul. It's not like the graphics are, AAA level. They're still pretty standard Counter-Strike graphics. It's just with better lighting and better kind of updating in the environment. So I think the whole shadows aspect is actually going to be a nice change. And, people are obviously going to have to learn it, and some people might not be happy to learn a new aspect of the game. But I feel like it'll actually provide a bit of a change worthy of being called a sequel.
The thing though is I'm in the camp where I don't think CS2 needed to exist. I think that's a really, really spicy take, and I know that, but I think
it is an interesting take for sure.
Because I think Counter-Strike Global Offensive was in a position. I mean, it was the most played game on Steam. It was in an incredibly powerful position, and they've potentially created a new. I mean, Counter-Strike Source and 1.6 when they came out, there was huge divides in the community, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive was the thing that united everybody else. And there's a very risky chance that CS2 creates that same divide in the community. And so,
but I mean, it didn't. I think Valve is sort of circumventing that risk by just having CS2 replace CS:GO.
Well,
like so, I think the people who like CS:GO and came from Source and 1.6 because they thought CS:GO was better than those two games, they're not going to go back to 1.6 or Source.
Yeah.
So they're.
But that could push people out of the game completely. If CS2 has too many performance issues on lower NPCs, granted, of course things are getting better, and I'm stuck in kind of that 2014 GTX 1080. But I don't have one, but I'm saying I'm like acting like every game that I see should run on a GTX 1080.
Well, you definitely want to talk over performance. The computer you have.
I think
4090,
3090.
I think, but I don't think it's as much as a risk of you think, just because I think the aspect of keeping the core gameplay, like still there, you know, because you still have, as Brian said, I mean, you still have the same gun physics, basically. Yeah. You know, they changed the sound, but, you know, sound in is not going to affect how you shoot or physically anything like that. You know, they're keeping the space pattern the same, or to my knowledge, at least. I don't know.
They're the same. Well, so I've actually had the chance to sort of play the beta, and I think the biggest thing that I can say to all of your concerns is that it's still like moving around, shooting, and like b-hopping and stuff like that. It all sort of just feels like CS:GO did. I mean, I also have the perspective. I play primarily matchmaking. Like, well, most of us play on 64-tick matchmaking primarily, which, you know, I guess, you know, some people, that immediately makes some people disregard our opinions on this game at all. But
not face it level 10?
Yeah,
I'm not listening anymore.
As a professional player for Team Liquid.
But the biggest thing is that like it just feels like like the feel of the game is like basically all there. Like, in fact, it even feels like honestly a little better in some cases. So I think a lot of this is sort of a process of like, you know, I guess if Valve wasn't worried about what you're saying, they would have just released it and said, all right, CS2 February, you're playing this now, and then fix it as they go along. So I think they're very smart to sort of keep calling this period a testing period.
Yeah, but I think but they did kind of put, by saying this summer, I think they did kind of put a cap on when they're eventually going to do that. I think if they just shut the fuck up and said we're just going to keep producing it, it's ready when it's ready, I think is a lot better approach. Well, because then there was like this weird phase with all the tournaments, the TOs, where they were going, all right, we're just going to put everything on CS2 until, or we're going to like put everything on hold until CS2 comes out, and then CS2 never came out, and so then they were like, fuck it, we're going back to Counter-Strike, Global Offensive.
I think literally Valve is confident they can finish it, because they did confirm the 2024 like major to be in CS2, so
I think that's like another primary point there is like, you know, even though it might seem like it might be a little rushed, because I mean the beta access only started coming out, I think it was the beginning of the summer, and you know we're coming near we're nearing the end of
March.
Well,
the original March run, and then they started releasing more in like.
Well, yeah, and then I guess my point is like, you know, we're approaching August now, and we're probably going to get it. I'm pretty confident that we are going to get Source 2 in August, late August probably, and like I think that push to have all these other organizations be like, oh, we need to know when this is out so that we can start planning, is important for Valve to utilize almost, because you know the instant that they confirmed that we're having another one, that means we're getting Source 2 before then, and we're going to get it a little bit before too, because they're also going to need some time to test and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think, just if Valve was still in the state of when it was first becoming, or when Source in 1.6 was becoming CS:GO, like, yes, I think that maybe we could take more time to be like, you know, let's take some time. It's ready when it's ready. But, you know, now that we have all these other factors of, like, you know, pro play, pro scene, like, everything like that, like, you know, Valve's now, like, they all these other companies depend on Valve to get this out.
Yeah.
So
that's what I think was really weird, though, about this, is the fact that I don't think many of us really expected, like, if you told me CS2 was coming out in January this year, I would never have believed you. And I think it was out of nowhere. I mean, we started hearing the rumors leading up to it in March.
Like, from my experience, I was sitting in class. Like,
yeah,
you know,
too.
I was.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us were probably sitting in class. We were probably sitting at work, and we were just sitting there, and then all of a sudden we get a ping in our thing or in the Discord. I think Alex, you were the first one to send it out.
Yeah. I saw the tweets. I was like, that's not real.
And like, you know, I went to the website. I'm like, this is not real. And this was while we were still in Open Division for
ESEA.
Yeah. So like we were all actively playing the game when this was happening. We're like, this is never real. This is not going to happen. And then Valve comes out like officially being like, it's happening, and we were like, what?
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like it's a thing though that like. I feel like sequels for games come out when they need it, or at least they like COD has like it's like every year and a half they produce a new game.
Every year, actually.
Yeah,
You're giving them too much
I was
credit.
giving them a benefit of the doubt, but it's been like every year a new $60 game comes out, $60-$80 game. a new COD every year. Okay, a consistent release date. Or for Overwatch, if you can even count it as a sequel. Okay, but they had a diminishing player base and they needed to pull people back in. So what did they do? They say Overwatch 2 is out.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike is at the peak of its popularity. The most popular game right now on Steam. I mean, if you look back at the old stuff, it's like Dota 2 is like the most popular, stuff. But then, but now it's Counter-Strike. Over 2020, Counter-Strike hits record highs of like 1.8 million, 1.5 million, huge record highs, and what do? They release a new game. Like that's the last thing you expect.
I feel like that's kind of like a good idea though, is for them to release a new game while it's still really popular.
But I think there's two camps. It's it's popular right now, so produce new content and make a new game and get more people involved. Or then the other one is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Because I think that's what could happen. I'm very in the fence that, or in the camp that there is a very big chance, or at least I think it's a 50-50 coin flip. That because we're having it sent out to betas with people who have thousands of hours, that the casual player base might end up, and I say this regrettably, going off to other games because that either it doesn't run on their systems good, or they don't like the feeling or the look of it, and then that Counter-Strike appealed to them more for the more simplistic nature that was a lot more consistent versus what CS2 is trying something that no game has, no competitive shooter has stepped into. I mean, you don't have insanely good physics, you don't have insanely good lighting, rendering, all that sort of stuff that Counter-Strike 2 is providing in any other game. So they, like, with the stuff on Vertigo, the fact that, like, a shadow now in a position on an old map, because of the way the shadow is reflected onto the wall, gives free information, is a thing that no other game right now struggles with because of the way the lighting works. There's no dynamic lighting like that. And dynamic lighting is now a completely new factor you've got to take into map making.
Well, I think, but another big part of that is one of the other biggest parts about shadows has been in the game for a while now. I mean, on Dust 2, we see it all the time where if you have players cat, and they're peeking out and down, like if you're CT, you're able to see the shadow there. You know, so I don't think the shadows is such a big thing. Granted, they might get a little bit more stretched out, and like, yes, that could be an issue if it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
But I think just updating the shadows, I think, is fine because, like, granted, yes, you get so much more information. Vertigo, we'll take the example on B-Site. Where, you have that major divide between B ramp or B stairs and the site. And, yes, like if I'm a CT playing around the corner and I'm about to swing site, yes, they can see my shadow and that's going to be a huge advantage there. But, at the same time, like, you also have all these other clues. I mean, you have sound, you have stuff. Like, even if you removed shadows, I'm betting you if we're going for retake, we'll say our site player is dead, like, you're going to hear, the Ts are going to hear those footsteps coming from mid and stuff like that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, I think it's more of a thing where it just helps people, like, be like, oh, I'm not a schizophrenic, I don't, I'm not just only hearing those footsteps. I can also visually see that something is coming.
I think the thing that's going to walk into, though, is dynamic lighting. Like, yeah, you have the shadow, but those are, like, baked into the map. So it's like, when you have, like that light on Vertigo is probably in the next few updates just going to get removed entirely.
You think it's going to get removed?
I think it's either going to get tilted significantly or removed completely. But the thing is now you have positions in buildings where you need to, if you have dark areas, you need to light them up. But then you light them up, and then people have weird ass fucking shadows that like project onto the wall, and it's not like you can turn those off. There's no button that you say like a. Well, actually, if this would be a great idea, Valve, if you're listening, put a no shadow zone. There you go. That would fix actually a lot of sections.
You make like a clip brush, but instead of it's like a no shadow brush.
Yeah, like a no shadow brush. So it's like if you're in this area, you don't cast a shadow. So then you can fix kind of like that type of area. Then you could keep that light on Vertigo. You're welcome.
I think.
We should have written an email to the CS2 team after this episode's finished filming.
But I think making a map now, if you need to add light and do all that sort of stuff, all that crap, now you have more factors to take into account, more factors to bug fix when it comes out. Like, how long did it take for Anubis to get to the point where it was like a competitively viable map?
Well, it was a map that was like theoretically done like a couple of years ago. Valve just only recently bought it to put into the game.
But I'm sure when it was released at the time, it had a low player count, if any.
Yeah.
No offense to the map maker, but that's just
a
kind of the
beautiful
factor with Workshop.
I mean that's also just like how the CS community is. Like the only way Valve can get feedback on their maps is to like force people to play it. Like,
and to have people play and I think that's the thing that could end up happening though is with this new. I mean, we're 3, 4, maybe a week into Overpass being out, and we've figured out a lot of the bugs already. Weird clipping, uncomfortable positions and stuff.
In Valve's defense, they have been very active in fixing things.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not saying this as Valve has actually been doing a very, very good job at being responsive, and I think just by the fact that r/place is going on right now, and that's the thing that they're posted all over Twitter. So they're clearly, this is like the most Valve has communicated with the community, which is pretty impressive. So
it's kind of weird, isn't it?
I know. I'm not used to it. Like there's like an off chance that they would see this.
I think just in terms of what we were talking about earlier, though, I've been saving this one. I think you say that if games are broke, don't fix, but I think that this is like naturally the next step that CSGO takes, just because we've had Source 2 port ever since Half-Life Alyx has been out. We've had a stable Source 2 engine and everything like that, and then we have, I think Dota 2 was actually ported over to Source 2 as well, and stuff like that. So I think like just naturally, like granted, this is a little bit more hyped up than it is, just because CS:GO is such a like highly played game. So yes, like we're gonna get more content and stuff like that. But like if CS:GO wasn't played like as much as it is now, I still think we would get that Source 2 port on a lower scale. I think just CS:GO getting this Source 2 like refresh is kind of it was going to happen in its lifetime, and like I see what you mean where like they're doing more though than what like because Dota 2 I know was just literally the source code was changed over to Source 2, and like I don't think there was
I don't play Dota, so I don't know how big of a change
from what I heard, the game was pretty messy for like a year after because like Valve kind of just like gave it to them without like they didn't do what they did. They didn't really do what they did with CS2. They kind of just like said, this is Dota now. Have fun. We'll fix it later. We'll fix it eventually.
Like they just ported all the code over. And stuff like that. Because I think it was on the working engine. There was rumors that Source 2 was actually first, after Alyx, obviously, but it was first tested with Left 4 Dead. Because it was a game that didn't have a huge player base, and like everything was very linear, where you could just go through the map, like, it was start point, end point kind of thing. And I remember there was a lot of testing there, and I'm pretty sure it was the code that they tested on Left 4 Dead was ported over to Dota 2, or it was some sort of code that they were testing on a different game was just ported over to Dota 2, but I don't remember what game it was.
I mean, like the big thing with like CS2 and Source 2 itself is just like a lot of Source 2's development was just like, how many things can we like do with the engine before it's done? But then all those like attempts to games just all die. Like if you like read I forget what it's called, but it's like the book Jeff Keighley wrote about Half-Life Alyx's development. Is Source 2 being finished is like the biggest thing that has happened in Valve in like so many years that it's let them actually make push towards 2 releases in the last 5 years, which is like But so it's like.
Yeah, because for a portion of time there, Valve was just doing hardware stuff where, we had the Index, the Valve Index, we had the Steam Deck, which was, like a bunch of people hyped it up. You and me both have one. Or you have one, right?
I have an Index on a Steam Deck.
Right. Well, the Index is amazing. That was revolutionary at the time. And then, we have the Steam Deck here, which was just a more affordable way for people to get into gaming. So, like, for a while, Valve was just like, oh, we're only going to do hardware stuff. So, like, as you were saying, like, the completion of Source 2, like, I feel like they might come back as, like, a game company.
Yeah, but I guess the main point I'm trying to make is that because Source 2 was in a state where they could, like, push forward with it, that sort of, that was their signal to really, like, make an effort into, like, revamping Counter-Strike because, like, even without, like, all the overhyped leakers over the last few years, like, we've known that, like, Valve intended to make, like, Source 2 a thing, and they shifted away from that original mentality of port stuff backwards because they were porting stuff backwards because they knew Source 2 wasn't a complete engine. So moving CSGO up wasn't viable, but now it was. So that's part of their mentality now.
But I think it's really interesting because I don't know how much Dota was changed by Source 2, but it seems like the Counter-Strike changes with Source 2 are significantly bigger than what they did with Dota.
They are.
Because their lighting, their gunplay, I mean, to an extent, I mean, you can't really say gunplay, but like there's tracers that are much more visible. The lighting's different in the tracers. You've got map changes. You've got, I mean, even then now we've getting gameplay changes where you've got loadout type stuff, which is I think very interesting to see.
I think it's like kind of more of like the aspect of like it's just a breath of fresh air into
there's that, and then there's also the fact that this breath of fresh air, well, it's nice for old players like us who have played the game for a long time. It's also going to be really nice for newer players who are getting into the game because now they have a little bit more of even ground with the tracers and the known patterns and these new mechanics that everybody's going to be learning at the same time. You're actually going to get more people wanting to play the game, saying I'm not as far behind as I was with CS:GO. With CS2 now I have a bit more of a even ground. Everybody's learning something new. I can stand out more because maybe I learn it better or faster. So you get more new players who can say maybe give this game a shot because of all this new stuff. Right?
So I guess then that brings the question: like, does that make do these like new changes make you more excited to play the game? Because I know you haven't played the game as much as we have recently, obviously. So
no, definitely, actually, I want to experiment in the new smokes. I've played the game a bit, right, and I've a few hundred hours on it, but I'm not in the thousands like you guys. Right? But the new smokes, the new mechanics, and the fact that tracers are visible now is honestly really big for me because it's now like, okay, now maybe I can go get back into it. Now maybe I can actually start being competitive because there's these new mechanics being like everyone's got to learn it. I can actually try.
Yeah, and then also like to talk more about mechanics and like I guess making it easier for new players to sort of onboard themselves into the experience. They've done a lot of things to like mechanically wise that make stuff that we had not needed. So like before we would have jump throw binds, which for people who don't know what jump throw binds are, in Counter-Strike there's like a thing where if you wanted a smoke to land somewhere on the map, you would set up this bind that would let you like jump and toss your nade at the same time. And the reason you do that is because to land some very specific spots, you need your nade to be like on like precision timing. But with like the combination of the new smokes, they basically made it so that as long as you smoke it like close enough, the volumetric smoke expands to fill like the entire area. So they basically did this thing where instead of needing a jump throw bind, when you jump and toss your nade, your character will make like a huh sound when he tosses. And when you hear that sound in your ear, you'll know that okay, that was a proper jump throw. And it doesn't matter if you're off now because the volumetric smoke fills up the entire gap that it lands in. Versus like CSGO smokes, which don't sometimes.
And then just another aspect on that, I remember when we got the Crosshair update. Being able to copy and paste templates and stuff like that. I mean, we're even seeing that now in Source 2 with video. I mean, if anyone's played CSGO for more than probably like an hour and have tried to change video settings like while in a game or something like that, your game will crash. But now with Source 2, like even in the menu, like you in real time get to see how shit changes and stuff like that. And it's really fun to see that aspect of like, oh, I'm changing texture quality from medium to high. Like, what will that actually mean for me? Because there's been multiple times I've been in game and like I'm on low settings and then I go to high settings and I'm like, not a lot has actually changed. Like I get like 2 more pixels at the bottom or something like that.
It was very surreal to change my video settings while I was like in a DM, hit apply, and it just happens, and I'm like.
I know you probably hit apply. You're like, no, wait.
One of the things you brought up, I didn't actually know about the whole shouting when jump throwing now.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's
like,
kind of a goofy noise because I mean, when Alex was testing it for us, it was literally he was trying it out and he would go and just go ah or something like that. It's a really goofy noise, but like you will now know.
Yeah, it's not a nice thing for like people who like never had jump throw binds, were like too afraid to ask what they were. You just don't need it anymore.
I think they should change it to like
very nice.
They should agent, instead of doing like that, I think what would work a lot better is if it was more like the Valorant Ace sound. You know?
No, actually, it should be. It should be the Tony Hawk Pro Skater. So every time you like successfully had a trick, it just go BAM!
I would fuck with that so much.
Actually, while we're on that, what do you guys
customize it?
Yeah, that would well, you customize it by changing your agent.
Oh.
So can I get the Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk agent, CSGO agent.
They should do crossovers in CSGO.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, you bring an interesting point. Like, I hate to mention the Valorant word again, but they've sort of taken, they've definitely drawn some inspiration. Like, what is it with the card system they have now? Where I guess for people who don't know, every time you get a kill, there's like a little card that pops up at your bottom.
I love that.
It flips up into. Yeah, of course, you would love it.
Mr. Gamble.
As a proud owner of the Aces High pin, I definitely do like the gambling card.
As the owner of the High Roller PP Bison.
I guess my question is, do you guys think like they're gonna try and do more with it? Because for now, all it is, it doesn't even like make a sound. It's just a pure visual like indicator of how many kills you've gotten.
I know Flom yelled at them not to make a sound, and they said that they weren't gonna make a sound. So I know about that. So I don't think a sound is coming. I don't think a lot of people would like a sound because the 10 people that they did take it and change, that was like the biggest feedback is don't make this Valorant.
What
So I think it's like. I think there's some stuff that they did take from Valorant, like the card stuff and the more like visual feedback, or like that Valorant does very well. I would say like the shooting people in the head has a very, I would say like a satisfying, like killing people in Valorant has a very satisfying feel to it. And Counter-Strike I think also does that really well. So I think the card system is nice. The visual stuff is very nice. I think more customization. I would love the ability though, because I'm really used to the Counter-Strike Global Offensive stuff. I'm very solid on this. I really think they should also have more UI changes. Because I mean, look at Team Fortress 2. People in Team Fortress 2 have the weirdest fucking setups where they have this big plus in the left side of the screen, and then like the number covering like that exact number of what their health is like covering the screen. And then they've got like a miniature icon that's like spinning in the bottom right. It's like the weirdest shit. I just want the ability to be able to like press a button and just give me back my global offensive HUD.
You think they're gonna do that? Do you think they're gonna then? Because what TF2 allows you to like use custom HUDs. Like you can download HUDs off websites and just slot them into your game. Like, are you saying you'd like it if CS:GO or CF2 allowed something like that?
Maybe not like an exactly like custom HUD, but I would really like the ability to switch back to maybe previous iterations of the HUD, like the global offensive HUD.
We'll probably get that
1.6. I don't know if they would do that. That doesn't seem like a very much like Valve intuitive.
Because right now,
I mean, they did do it in TF2.
But TF2, that's been around for like 20 years, and that's not like TF2 is not the magnum opus of competitive games. You know,
but I guess my point is like we have that already in CS:GO. Is like you can go back to classic and you can do like the panorama, because the panorama update added a lot. Like actually in the background where you had the classic. I think I only play on classic to be honest. But
wait, you can change your HUD?
Yeah, it's not a huge change, but
I had no clue.
There is.
But I mean, in CS2, that's completely scrapped, though. You know,
maybe.
I think the HUD is way too cluttery right now in the state that it is. Also, change the direction that the guns are facing.
I was gonna bring that up if you didn't.
Fix that shit. That's so it's awful.
If you didn't know, Brian, you know the guns face like inwards in the Go. They flip us so they face outwards.
So it looks really weird.
I bet you it's probably just the.
And it also it makes it so the stock, which is like the largest part of the weapon, is
right
now covering more of the important side of your screen. So
would you rather?
So it's like you have an op and it's like this big box on the, like sticking out. It's like fuck it, that's my crosshair now.
Would you rather have it so where they flip it, or the ability to turn it off?
Where do I turn it off?
Like, what if you could just disable having your guns on the side?
I mean,
I think more customizability is almost always better. Like, just allow people to do what they want. Don't make it. I mean, as long as it doesn't offer some kind of like insane competitive advantage, right?
I mean, we already get that a little bit with view model too.
Yeah,
like
we already do. Yeah.
allowed a little bit of wiggle room with our guns and stuff like that.
I think it'd be hilarious if somebody was like trying to do like a custom HUD, like if you allow custom HUD in CS2, and this guy makes like a HUD that just puts a crosshair in your screen all the way. So like when you have the
all the guns combined into one ball in the center.
It's like when you have the op out, you don't have a crosshair, so you're just like, okay, well, let me just get this HUD that puts a crosshair on my screen.
But that's
I mean, it wouldn't even offer that much of an advantage.
No.
I mean, you can buy monitors now that will put permanent
so
like right in the middle of the screen.
No, I remember Fallen doing an interview saying he sharpied in a crosshair on his screen when he was learning how to op.
But I think that's
at that point, just allow custom HUD.
Honestly, I think if I really wanted to, I think I would probably play with no HUD at all.
Really?
I think
that would be an experience.
I think that would
No
be like
crosshair, no
that would.
nothing?
Well, no, I would do a crosshair.
Would you have,
I
like,
think I think
health?
without a crosshair would be impossible. I think maybe health, but I feel like that's like even if you don't have your health, I think it's like. I think that would be the best way to completely and fully rely on like skill. And like because you're not looking at your mini map, you're completely relying on callouts and information from your teammates. You're relying on kind of the feel of, and I say feel even though it's like it's not a physical thing, but like understanding how much you've shot your gun and whether you need to reload or not. You know what your HP is, and I think if you have completely removing the mini map. To an extent, I think would be a really useful thing. I do use the minimap a lot, but I've also been killed many times by looking up at the minimap and then getting shot in the head.
As the team's IGL, removing the minimap would be a death sentence for me.
That's why customizability.
Yeah.
Allows some people to do it. Allows some people to have it.
I think that would be a big change though, and I think even if you really want to send it, here's another idea. Create a game mode where there's no HUD at all.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And proximity chat.
I mean, it's
that
would actually be
I don't
funny.
think. I think allowing customization would be the best option. I don't think adding a game mode to like remove stuff would be cool. Just because they should allow community map creators to do that.
Exactly.
Oh,
and stuff like that.
100%.
Like I don't.
community map, not an official game mode.
Yeah. I think that would make I think there's a lot of custom. If CS2 is going to be the next step forward, and I feel like what they're doing is trying to promote customization with the way that they've changed the loadout system. So instead of I don't know if I think you know about the loadout changes, right? Where you can take 5 rifles and 5 pistols and then 5 things. So now you have to literally
I don't know. I've heard about there being changes, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah, so
here's what
it's
it looks
specifically now you get 15 weapons you can take into a match.
I'm gonna blow it up.
Other than your starting weapon.
Yeah, so you get the starting pistol is the choice between the USPS and the P2000 still for the like CT.
Oh, okay.
But then you could they wouldn't allow you to switch out that stuff. But like then you just get to choose 4 pistols of every single pistol they have in the game, and they're like, this is what you can use
For this one match?
for this one.
For the next match you play.
whatever.
For the round or the match?
Match.
For the match.
Oh, okay.
So so it's like
But-
you can now have like the Deagle and the RE together instead of them being that, or the same thing with the MP5 and the MP7.
Well, the biggest thing I would say is the M4 and the M4A1S.
Yeah, you can have both of them. I think that's a needed change. I think that's a very, very great change.
But then you sacrifice a different slot for something, right?
Yeah, what rifle? Like, come on, let's think about this. In the mid tier slot, like you can cut out like half those guns from this game, and like a few people might be like Tim would be sad, but nobody else would be sad.
Well, no, but like I think this is great, right? Because like then rather than buying like granted FAMAS is way cheaper than the M4A1S.
Yeah.
But like rather than buying the FAMAS on like a save round, then rather than saving, if you love the M4A4, like then you just eco buy with the M4A1S.
Yeah, so because the different, I think it changes the economy. I think the interesting thing that we're going to see though with this change is all of a sudden we're going to see even less amount of guns used. Because I mean, the amount of that there's even a thing called weapons expert, which is the amount of individual weapons that you kill that you could get. For some reason, no matter how many kill, like if I drop a 40-80 bomb or whatever the fuck it is, they still give me that regardless. But now that's going to be like much more condensed, and we're going to not see, I guarantee you we're not going to be seeing like maybe Mag 7 used very much anymore.
I feel like Mag 7 is. I feel like
maybe Mag 7.
I feel like we're going to see less Nova or auto shot.
Nova, Negev,
sawed off.
Personally, sawed off. Like all of kind of like the weapons that like you use to like joke around to an extent are completely removed from the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I will
that's
say
going to
that
limit kind of the scope of the weapons.
I will say that is a very like that's a very reasonable thing. Like for the casual side, it's probably like not an improvement, but I guess for like pro play or for like high level play, like nobody used those guns anyway at the high level. Like if you go to like HLTV, I'm pretty sure there's been like 2 buys and kills in the last like 3 years across all matches. So it's like,
and they were both by config.
Well, I wonder if maybe adding preset loadouts. So like, let's say you launch the game, right, and you're on loadout 1, and that's your competitive loadout, right, and then you want to just have fun, dick around on casual and stuff like that. Like then you go to loadout 2. Like I wonder if maybe just adding that whole extra aspect of like, oh, this is my super serious, like we're gonna win. This is my, I'm just gonna have fun on CS:GO.
Why not just have CS:GOs? Like why not have this loadout system for competitive and then have the old CS:GO loadout system for casual?
Completely.
The reason I was hearing rumors about this, and it's because CS:GO's radial menu was built for controller.
Yeah. It was
so
built for
in
Xbox.
like we don't have that anymore, that aspect anymore. I don't think we. I don't think
we got the Valorant menu.
Yeah. Well, granted, listen, I know it's the Valorant menu. I think most of us here hate Valorant, but like you have to say, like the rebuy function is definitely something that benefits like me as a player. Cause
no, rebuy is great. I think rebuy. I think dude, there was like rounds. I remember watching professional Counter Strike, and they would like restart the round because some guy accidentally bought a gun that he didn't mean to buy, and it's like. Just if the round hasn't started, just let me sell it. Like, that's like much more reasonable. But I think just like granted, I don't think Valorant created columns and lists.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing that this change really does, it like, because what is it? I think the big thing I've seen like talked about is how every change is made to address something that somebody's like brought up as an issue with the game. So like this addresses like 3 main issues. So one is at the high level nobody uses half the guns.
Yeah.
2, the radio menu thing, like you said, because now all your guns are in one menu, I guess, like Valorant, but it's not a bad thing. It was honestly fine, but now you don't have to like worry about like clicking into like accidentally clicking your SMG button and buying a P90 instead of buying your M4.
I've definitely been there where I'm spamming like 1-3 to like just go from like gun knife like while waiting, and then I press like E or B by accident, and like all of a sudden I have an MP9, and I'm like, okay, cool.
And then the third thing it really fixes is, like I said, the refunding system, because now it's like it's like a very like clean change that they've done that sort of like address 3 issues with the buy menu that people have had, which I think is like, I guess sort of, we're talking about like goods and bads, things that this will do for the game. I think this is like a very like good thing. Like somebody thought a lot about what this system could do for the game. So
what actually would probably fix the issue with casual players is because I know you can't change that menu in game. If you could change that menu in a casual match, because I feel like a casual match is where you should get the test out of.
I feel like you can, because what is it? If you load casual or like load DM, you can just swap things in your loadout in like CS:GO, and then just it applies in your next like life.
If that does that in CS2, I haven't played CS2, so I don't know.
Well, I haven't tested. I haven't tested.
A very unfortunate fact that two of our players haven't touched CS2, and then one player got to at least play a little bit.
Yeah. So I didn't actually get CS2 on any of my accounts, but one of my friends has 4 accounts. He got CS2 on 3 of them.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So he's letting me borrow one of his accounts to play CS2 whenever I want. No, the best part, he posted a screenshot of like me and the boys on CS2, and it's just him and his 2 alt accounts in the same lobby. But no, but like anyway, so it was just like I didn't get to test casual or anything. I was just running around in DM and testing smokes and overpass and stuff. But no, it's a really cool thing, and
I think it's a great system. It's just it runs into the fact that it's restricting weapons significantly, and I think that's the weird thing is going to have to happen. Is if to me, an ideal Counter-Strike would be where every gun, to an extent, has a use case.
Yeah, like that's one of the things I wanted to bring up was, do you think every weapon in the game should be viable?
I think if the game had half the weapons it had, that's a more reasonable take. But I think we're going to compare to Valorant again. They have 2 shotguns that both fulfill very different roles. Like your like pump and your auto. CS has like 5 shotguns. Like have fun making all of them feel so unique that you would feel a reason to buy either one or. So it's like
yeah, I think also what's interesting though about Counter-Strike is it has completely different sides. You have the sawed-off, which replaces the Mag 7 for the terrorists, and the Mag 7 that replaces the sawed-off for the counter-terrorists. So you are going to get something completely different in the sense where Valorant you have the same buys, the same weapons for both sides, and that's completely fine. Like and honestly, I feel like that's a more optimal system because that says. But then even then you run into the thing where you're already having attackers and defenders, so you might as well sauce it up a little bit.
One of the good things about this menu, and the thing that worries me, that Valorant didn't set up for this at all, where their buy menu is completely set up on the base that nothing else will ever be added. Like they can't add any other guns because they're gonna have to revamp the whole thing. With this. Let's say Valve on Source 2 release day releases like 20 new guns, right? It's never going to happen. But if given the circumstance, we now have the freedom and the choice to be like, okay, I don't like the M4A1S anymore. I want to put, I don't know, the SCAR in.
Yeah, I know. That's. I mean, it's literally in the game.
Yeah.
Put the SCAR in the game. We have been drawing this.
Are you talking about the assault rifle SCAR
L? Yeah, SCAR L, not the SCAR 20. The SCAR 20 is already in the game. So give me the SCAR L. It's in the game's logo, and you've been having us relentlessly draw this shit on r/place, and you haven't given us the fucking gun. So, I mean, honestly, it would be a great time to reveal this right now. So.
Yeah.
And this is an exclusive on the H-Flat podcast. We actually have inside
SCAR L in Counter-Strike 2.
But that's the thing you need to... I like the fact that this opens up new guns to be added to the game, but I feel like the weapon system is very restrictive right now. What are they going to change that's not already done by the M4A1 or the AK?
I think it's probably one of those
the meta.
I think it's probably one of those things where it won't change the meta. It will just be like, hey, there's this other option. I
think that's good though.
Yeah.
Right. I think having more weapons is honestly a good thing. I don't necessarily think that all of them should be viable, kind of like what we were saying, but they should have niche use cases, holding down an angle is very good for the Negev right now. Maybe make the M249 do something similar. I obviously the M249 is way overpriced for what it is.
Yeah.
Right now. But they made the Negev
$1,700.
Yeah, $1,700, right?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of viable in certain situations.
I've used that in the ESCA and won us rounds. It's a great anti-buy as an eco weapon. It's kind of in the territory as a shotgun to an extent, as area denial.
What do we feel about... I was just kind of thinking about this now with adding new options for guns and stuff like that. So many guns we have in CSGO right now, they have bipods.
Yeah, I was going to completely say.
What do we feel about...
completely agree.
On this screenshot I see right now, there's an op right there. We see two things. What if we're allowed to actually set those up?
I think that would be if they want to create new guns, they're going to have to create new gameplay. And because there's no world where you just create an M4 with a different spray pattern with the same that costs $50 more.
Yeah.
What if it's just not viable? It just doesn't make sense.
Well,
it's too niche.
Unless you get more range or less range drop off with it or something.
But there's never an angle.
The big thing is that it becomes this is an M4 with this knob turned up, this knob turned down. It's just in the end it's just an M4.
But eventually you're just gonna keep doing all these knobs until every gun blends into slightly the same thing, just in different individual use cases. Well, what PUBG did was kind of interesting. They had hundreds of guns, and they still mass produce. They crank the guns out. I haven't played PUBG in a very long time, but I do get updates and see the shit that they're fucking pumping out guns like
just from my
Jerome
perspective,
Powell and the money printer.
I've played PUBG within the last 2 weeks or something like that, and you have 6 or 7 different variants of the AK. And they all have different spray and they all have different damage indicators. And I think personally, if I was to say this, I think CSGO could probably, or Counter-Strike 2, CSGO, whatever it is at that point, they could probably benefit from doing that. Where it's you have the AK-47, it's a base AK-47, it has the same pattern recoil, it has the same recoil amount, it's the same damage right now. But now you release a more modern AK that's I think it's the barrel.
The barrel. Well, there's the barrel which shoots 5.56.
That 5.56 one. Now imagine we have an AK that it's a 2-top headshot now, but it's less recoil.
Yeah. Okay, so the M4A1.
but you can only run it on T side.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's one of those
T-side
things.
version of the M4A1.
Zoe would love that.
Yeah.
She hates the AK.
I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, well, like, you know, going back to the Scar L, like, I'm pretty sure Scar L's use 7.6 too. I might be wrong about that. There's a version of the Scar L that will use the 7.62 cartridge.
Actually, I think I'm wrong about the barrel. I think the barrel does use 7.62.
Whatever the point is.
The AK
12.
70.
There's an
the
AK
12, I think, uses 5.56 or something. But then there's the AK 72.
74U? The
Oh,
SMG,
74U,
The
yeah.
47 and the 74. Yeah. So 40 is.
But like, you know, just saying with the Scar L, like that uses 7.6. There's a variant of it that uses 7.6. And like, what if we now see on counter-terrorist side where we can use the Scar L, it's 20 bullets a mag, but it will one-tap headshot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say that's a very dangerous line of
Yeah.
like
Oh,
I think
what we're describing would change the meta.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the meta needs to be changed. Like, I don't think the meta should go into CS2 and we should have the same meta as CSGO.
Sure, we did get AUG week. We had
yeah,
AUG week, then we had AUG major.
So my big thing is that like when Valve has never really had a good tracker with releasing like
New guns.
fair guns.
That's probably why they
And the
stopped
R8.
doing it after 2018. They released the MP5 and it was so first they released the R8 in CS:GO.
Oh, that
No, we
fucking pocket
we
off.
gotta go way back to like the first iteration of the A1S, man. Like that
Yeah.
thing had faster fire rate, cheaper, more like same amount of bullets. Like it was insane.
And then CZ came out and you had
it had like
pocket AK.
4 mags.
4 mags with like one tap headshot. And then we went to the R8. Well, actually, we had
it was
AUG week. We had AUG week, which
And
was
then
a
we had the
disaster.
R8.
Then the R8, where they're like, "Fuck it, I suck at MMs, so we're gonna go ahead and make an op for $800."
What do we just copy paste the op stats onto a pistol? But you just couldn't buy it on a pistol round.
Yeah, which is fucking ridiculous. And then they changed it, and then everyone stopped using it.
Yeah,
and then
and
the MP5 came out. They finally learned from all of their mistakes, and they released the MP5, and it was like, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so we make a balance gun. You guys don't like it, all right?
So then they just stopped. They went, we're going back to making hardware.
I don't know, but like, I don't know. I guess just to that extent of like, you know, the whole gun balancing is, I think that in my opinion, and seeing how Valve kind of works, like adding this new loadout menu is like them saying that we now have the option and we might actually just start releasing new guns.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
there've been like 3 guns that have been like floating around in the leakers community
Yeah.
for like years now. So.
I mean, like, of course, it's the leakers community.
Yeah,
You know? So
literally.
it's like, you know, you take it with a grain of salt, you know. But
Yeah. But I think that's. But this also opens the opportunity that they make new grenades too, because
Yeah,
I think the
you
grenades.
see on the slot.
yeah, I mean, we
slot
have
for the
slots
grenades.
for grenades.
Yeah, slots for grenades.
Grenade
which
skins?
is-
Question mark.
Oh, that's 100% coming. That there's no shot.
I think
that doesn't get- same
I
with
mentioned
Zeus.
this to you, Alex, but like,
Zeus
I
skins would be
think
cool.
in terms of
they
the
might.
Zeus skins and the grenade skins, I think they should release it like they did with like the X-Ray series, where like you just buy a box and like you can just buy like a separate box and they're like super cheap and stuff like that, and those are just for fun. Like cases and stuff like that, you know, you get drops from that. You get the drops in the cases, or you can buy it on the Steam Marketplace. But I feel like how utility skins should work is, that's such a weird sentence.
Yeah,
to
I know,
say out
right?
loud. But I feel like how utility skins should work should be like the music kit cases.
Where it
and,
has their own
Yeah,
system.
where it's like its
Yeah.
own little private thing.
Well, then put all the grenade skins, and then have the gold for the grenade skins be the Zeus skin. that fixes that.
Oh,
Honestly,
that's such an
that-
that's
Valve,
That's a
hire
nice
me.
That's
I'm
an
your
idea.
guy.
I'm sure. I think the best part is Valve saying that like they already have like that plan. Like those idiots.
I came up with it.
3 weeks after they
Copyrighted.
release it, all of a sudden we release it and they're like, cease and desist.
How'd they know? Mag manager here, please delete this.
Can I
They're clearly
take a quick
leakers.
timeout?
Yeah, sure.
I need to pee again.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
As if you
we're-
can hear in the background.
Hello, everybody. We are on break at the moment. Please hold for a second. Joven's using the bathroom right now. I'm sure you can hear it. Thank you.
This section of the podcast is not sponsored, but if you'd like to sponsor, please reach out to us at houseplatypusofficial@gmail.com.
Please reach out to CSGO. What's the?
It's CS2. Oh, let me,
What is the email?
Let's see. Where to? Let's see. You want to do CS2team at valvesoftware.com. That is CS2TEAM at valvesoftware.com.
Thank you very much for Valve sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Thank you very much, and we'll
continue.
I heard if you email them CS2LTBug-HPLAT podcast, they'll give you a code to CS2.
But thank you very much, everybody, for your patience, and we will be right back right now. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah, we're back.
yeah, we're back.
Joven's pee break is finished, and we have decided to move on to talking.
Anyway,
about
so
skins.
your point about the separate cases and stuff actually brings up an interesting thought for me. So for people who don't know, anyone who lived under a rock for like the last 4 months, they released the Anubis capsule or the Anubis case. Right, I say capsule, but so it's very interesting because the Anubis case is unlike any kind of
Apparently, I've been living under a rock. I haven't heard about this.
yeah. So the Anubis case is unlike any case they've ever done before. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
how it works is you buy the case for $2 and you just open it.
Oh, I like
Like
that.
no key. It's
like a souvenir package.
Yeah, it's basically you're buying a souvenir package. But
Yeah.
So everybody was talking about is this the new way they do cases in CS2? And I'm like, I don't know. What would you guys feel if instead of buying the case and the key, you just on the storefront could just drop $2 for a spin at the casino or whatever?
It sounds great, and I'm sure you're liking it, but it's literally a souvenir package. So you've got 5 white skins, then 4 light blue skins, 2 blue skins, a
I'll bring
single
it up.
purple. I don't think there's a single pink in there. Is
No,
there?
There
a pink?
is. There is.
There's skins at all tiers.
Yeah, because you have to do a trade. You can do a trade up for the
Yeah,
chorus.
a pink, and then just go
There's
straight
2
to
pinks
red.
actually. There's the
Yeah, it's like
the
So-
waters of Nephis
So
and the
you're basically taking $2
Apex
for
curves.
a 0.1% chance of hitting the red, and it doesn't change the odds. In fact, it makes it. I would say your return on investment, your ROI for buying these things is significantly worse than.
But
buying cases.
my point is more of how would you feel if they did this for the regular case form, which is blues, purples, pinks, reds?
It's
I don't
gonna
know.
create. I think.
Are there whites in this?
yeah.
I think the
there
fact
are.
that there is a.
Yeah.
They're creating. I think this was a big test, and I think it's for collections. It's fine. I think it worked fine for collections because it kept the Eye of Horus skin very expensive. That skin is still the
what,
souvenir.
1,000
Is that stat track?
$2,000
Souvenir.
for
That's
Fat
souvenir.
Man.
Okay.
Oh, it is just a souvenir
So,
package.
yeah, it's a souvenir package.
Stat track.
Yeah. So I think it works for souvenir packages because it still's got 200 to $2,000 for the Eye of Horus, which isn't bad at all because it's still a very rare skin. But for normal cases,
Yeah, but it's like a 1 in 40,000 chance of hitting.
yeah, absolutely.
If you're curious, this model, the Eye of Horse is 4 times the supply of operation skins from the last operation. So
That's
it's
the thing is the supply. They've created a complete artificial supply by saying that you can keep coming to them and producing and buying versus case, which are more. You have the keys, which are the free thing not free thing, but the Valve, the thing you get from Valve that they can mass produce and shit out, and that doesn't create anything. And then they have the cases, which is 100% relying on supply because it prevents somebody with $1 million to if somebody with $20 million all of a sudden said I'm going to spend all of that on the Anubis collection packages, they could statistically flood the market with enough of these skins and not affect the price of the case at all. So then all of a sudden they flood the market with all those cases, they manipulate, they bring the price all the way dirt cheap. If you also Goldman Sachs, I've got your next investment idea. But they could easily do that, and because they're just giving the case out and they're not making you spend anything with keys. But with the normal cases, you have to get cases from drops. So there's an initial supply behind there. And then on top of it, if somebody like Trainwreck shows up and says, I'm going to do a 5,000 to 220,000 case unboxing. I don't know if he's actually done that, but I'm just saying in the case of some
that's
big streamer.
that's gonna be the Onipixel anomaly. Those are the people that
it's
will be
going to
out.
shoot the price up of the case, and in turn, when the cases become rare, the skins go up in value. So, and then when they discontinue a case, the supply, because I guarantee you there's somebody out there who has been hoarding those collection packages, and the minute it goes, they stop. Well, I think they've stopped. Do they?
No, you can still buy them.
You can still buy them.
I think
Wow.
from all indications point towards it being just staying there.
Really? Okay. So then I think.
So if you look at the price, it's on market. It's just the same price as if you're buying it on a.
yeah. So I think what's going to happen is the price is going to decrease. But
I think naturally though that the price of the skins in the collection package is going to always stay tied to the price of the collection package, whether it be a multiple of 100 or whatever, right? That skin's price is always going to be tied once obviously a bit of stabilization occurs and there's enough supply in the market, that skin's price is always going to stay tied to the exact price of the package, the collection package, because there's no reason for that skin to go up in price as long as we can still buy that package at the same odds.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's going to go down.
Well, yeah,
because they're just going to keep people can just keep unboxing it. There's no because with current cases right now, they exit rotation after 3 years.
I don't know the exact.
I was looking at it, it's like 3 years. So like in a month, it's the fracture case that I think is going to exit rotation because there's the main drop pool.
I need the CS20 case to drop. Valve, please remove the CS20 case. I just made a very big investment recently, and I need the CS20 case to drop.
But the fracture case is about so they have like I don't know if you know how the cases work with the rotation where they have the main rotation where they've got like the 5 to 10, 15 cases that are stuck in the main rotation that there's it's like a 90 to 95% chance you get those when you get a case drop. And then there's the 5% which is any other case, and then there's the operation cases which will never drop. So then when with the Anubis collection though, there's no rarity for the package, and when if the package got a rare, then the prices of the skins could go up, but that doesn't exist. So somebody could be sitting on 1,000 to 1,000,000 Anubis collection packages, waiting for the day that they go off the market. Then it's going to shoot up in price because everybody's not looking at some potential display. Because you could just hide them in a collection, like those vaults. Yeah. So then nobody has any clue of how many Anubis collection packages are out there on the market. With cases, though, we have a decent idea on how many are in the rotation.
Well, I'm wondering if this will maybe become a thing where I wonder if this. I know other games do this. Apex does it, but would they have a monthly? Like this is what we're gonna have in rotation for the month. I wonder if these collection packages will become a monthly thing for CS, where all the maps that are in like normal regular play, they'll have just a case or a collection like this, and just for 1 month at a time, and for whatever random rotation they decide, they're like, hey, we're gonna have Mirage cases this month, so then people can buy like Mirage cases. They like those skins, and then they're like, oh, well, next month, we won't ever know because they won't ever release it, but like next month it'll become Vertigo and stuff like that. And I think with that aspect, if they do a monthly drop thing where you just spend $2, you get a case, you don't have to buy a key, that will introduce a lot of newer skin collectors to the game. Yeah. Because, in reality, you're never getting the red. You're never getting the pink. You're never getting the purple. But a couple of the blue skins and light blue skins in this collection is like pretty okay for playing with. I would use that Black Nile op in like my normal rotation.
Yeah, okay. What happened to the one I sold you?
It's still in my inventory.
Okay, good.
I put it on.
I actually don't know about that.
I was gonna say, I'll be like, hold on a second. I sold you one of those.
But that's the thing is that I think that works. But the Apex, the big thing when it comes to economies, that's completely different from Valve versus Apex Legends, Valorant, and any of those other communities is there's like an active trading. I don't think Apex you can trade your skins, right?
No, you'd have to sell your account.
They're completely locked to your account, and so what the skins that they make for the month, they don't go up in value. They're locked at the price that you sold them for. Well, other than selling your account, which I'm sure is against some terms of service.
All right, yeah. Speaking of that, do you think have they talked at all about doing a battle pass for CS2?
Well, so not in CS2, but I guess if you look at
it'd be an operation.
If you look at like the past operations, like it was a Hydra, Broken Fang, Riptide. They all had they all kind of like half-did battle passes, where like you had the like weekly missions where you could earn stars that will basically like fill this bar towards item drops. So it's like, I imagine they will keep doing stuff like that.
Do you think they're going to go to an actual battle pass system in CS2?
Well, it was basic.
I
mean, that system was pretty close to. I think
they're launching a new game. They're launching a new game, and if that would be the time to implement a battle pass.
I think the issue with the battle pass in terms of how Valve and how CS:GO runs is that they can't have multiple people having the same skin dropped, right?
Right, you can drop cases though.
Well, that's what we already have. It's like I think it's every 10 tiers for the last one, you got like a case drop or something.
Yeah. Right, but you can have other kind of skins that everybody has. You could have like agents or something in the battle pass that everybody got the same agent as long as you got that level in the battle pass. That's what Rocket League does. Rocket League has a battle pass and has a trading community.
I guess.
I think one of the big things though is with CS2 having or CS:GO in general, just having like a trading community. I think this is a general gaming thing. I think battle passes are dead, and this is a very big thing.
You're not a fan of Battlepasses?
I think I'm not personally a fan of battle passes, but I think in general they are a dead thing in gaming. I don't think a lot of people go, man, I'm going to go spend money on battle passes, because Fortnite, I think when that was a huge thing, they were releasing battle passes every 3 months, every 3 to 6 months, and with new seasons, new episodes, or whatever the hell they were calling it. I didn't play the game, but they milked the shit out of it to the point where.
In what way are battle passes dead? Any kind of like competitive, like any kind of game nowadays has a battle pass.
But I don't think it's as popular as
I think
it's way more popular in terms of game companies.
Well, no, I think to what Aidan's trying to say is like they're going to forever have battle passes in game. I don't doubt that, but I think the amount of people still physically purchasing the battle passes is going down.
Yeah,
because I mean, I guess I'm a bit different. I've never purchased a battle pass ever, because I always tell myself if I get to tier 100. Then yes, I will buy the battle pass, because then I just get all the skins. But I don't want to do the weekly missions because they're normally pretty boring.
That was also a big thing. I think the one of the big things about battle passes that I think have kind of fallen out of favor is I think casual playing games, especially over the pandemic, became a much more regular thing. Because when PUBG was in its full swing, they released a battle pass, and I think the first one that they released was for Sandhawk, and that was 40 tiers, and that was a reasonable battle pass. I don't think there was any. There might have been missions. I'm not too sure.
It was
2018, 2017.
It was impossible to level up though.
But yeah, it was a very slow battle pass with, and I think battle passes work in non-tradable games because you're giving the same thing to everybody.
They work in tradable games too. But there's evidence of that in Rocket League. Rocket League is a game where you have a battle pass, and the items on the battle pass are sellable on the market. And you also have items that aren't in the battle pass that are also sellable.
I guess just from my perspective, and I'm sure Alex might share this sentiment too, is back in Operation, what was the Control one? Was that Broken Fang?
You'll do more. You mean with the Control Collection?
The
that
Control
was
Collection.
Riptide.
Oh, sorry. So back in the Riptide day, if I spend all my stars on opening the 5-star cases to try to get an op fade, I would rather chance all of my progress on getting an op fade, because that's what it's probably $1,000, $200,000, something like that. I wouldn't be doing that if I knew by tier 99 I automatically got the op fade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing that
it's up to $7,000. Fuck me.
Right. One of the things that Rocket League's Battle Pass does is that you have all the same item drops up to tier 70. And after tier 70, you get variations of the item drops that CS could do as well. Because you have different patterns of skins, right?
Yeah.
So you could have random patterns drop. You could also have variants of skins drop.
I guess
drop after, and random variants drop after tier 70, which is kind of like what Rocket League does.
I guess I see what you mean, and yes, it would be kind of cool because then you just kind of know what you're getting. But from a point of view where I love collecting skins. I love going for the rare stuff. I've been talking about even doing trade ups, which is not profitable at all. But just going for some of that older stuff, and but being able to know that up until a certain amount everyone else is kind of getting what I'm getting would be kind of shitty.
I mean, it would just be in addition to you playing the game, though.
But when I buy the operations for CS:GO, I am purposely getting stars so that I could save up for the rare stuff, because I will sell it at some point.
Once you get to tier 70, right?
But
you would just start getting stuff that you would have a chance to get stuff that no one else has gotten.
I guess my point is why would I voluntarily wait till tier 70 when CS:GO already has it now, where it's from tier 1 I am different from everyone else,
because you can allow new players to get a collection of play skins.
But that's what I'm thinking. Oh well, we don't have it up anymore, but that's what I'm thinking that collection will do, those collection cases, because they're super cheap. They don't need keys.
Do they have a full play set?
No.
No,
mean,
not
no,
at all.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
You can do that through a battle pass.
You would say, but that would mean like almost every tier you would get a drop.
But you know what the issue is with the
Okay.
Battle Pass, though, is a Battle Pass with the more push towards, like, casually playing a game. Because I know in the past, like, month, 2 months, I have not been able to sit down at my computer and, like sweat while I'm working versus when I'm at class. It's not the
I love
same.
how I use the term sweat while I'm working. Like, I'm sweating at my work.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't...
Aidan in IT, he's so sweaty.
But there's no like level of like where I play games a little more casually to an extent, and the way battle passes are initially set up, where you have your weekly missions you need to do, and you need to do those missions, and then you have a certain amount of time to get them done, and you need to do them, and you spend X amount of time doing this stupid thing over and over and over and over again, and it's like in Counter-Strike, it's like stupid goals, like kill like 20 chickens on Dust 2. It's like, fuck that, I don't want to do that.
I think
to
that extent, that kind of reminds me of the Escape from Tarkov effect, where like I've put, I think I have about 2,000 hours in the game now, like overall, and like I don't think I've ever hit like I've only hit level 40 once out of a max level of 60 on one wipe. And I played, I swear to God, like every day for like a month straight, right? Like a lot of casual players that play Escape from Tarkov, like they're always stuck at the lower levels.
Yeah.
Like and like that sucks
Yeah,
because
I think that's what I am as a Tarkov player.
you can only unlock like the player market where you're allowed to sell guns on it for other people to buy and stuff like that. Like that unlocks at level 15. Like there are still some people that were casually playing Tarkov in the last wipe, and it's like they're 2 months into the wipe and they still don't even have like
and
access
I think
to that
that's like a
market.
huge issue with leveling systems in general.
If
And I think that's why Battle Passes.
Well, if I may offer, so this I've had with playing multiple games, multiple different battle passes. There are definitely wrong ways to do them and right ways to do them. Like the ones that are set up to sort of keep you playing for like weeks and days. They're like your daily mission, you gotta do it right now, and those ones kind of suck. But there's some games out there that are really good with their battle passes.
Rocket League is one of them, honestly.
I've played Rocket League. I've done them. Yeah, that one's pretty good for sure because it's like a lot of like cosmetics. Like opinion of getting the same cosmetic everyone else aside, it is a reasonable like way to earn a reasonable amount of cosmetics, which I think is at its base like okay. I think the battle passes like Fortnite's battle pass that gives you enough to buy the next battle pass. That's fine, but that's leads in more to your issues with like you need to max level that thing if you want to get the next one.
Yeah.
But there's some games that are really even more reasonable. Like let's take Halo's battle pass for example. Like issues with the game aside, you can just pick any battle pass the game is released and just say I want to start this battle pass. And then midway, you're like, I want to work on this battle pass now.
Yeah,
like that's really.
Can you still buy it though?
I don't know if you can.
I don't know if you can buy them when they go out.
I don't know if you can buy them, but like you can, if you have access to them, you can just wait.
Them.
Yeah.
Which I think that's really cool. Warframe also does a very interesting thing with their battle pass. So, most of the times it's like, I don't know if their games do this or like if like Apex or other games do it, but how Warframe does it, where they have like your weekly and your daily missions. If you miss a week and you just like complete all your missions for 1 week, it'll start adding back in the missions from last week into your thing, so you can keep earning all the XP. And like that helps with you not feeling FOMO'd out of the battle pass because you can just spend like 8 hours on Saturday on like the break and just grind out the entire battle pass. I have a friend Loska who did that.
I think just to that extent, then like.
But what I'm trying to say is there's so many different ways, and it's like it's really hard to sort of like quantify because nobody even seems to like know what they want out of their battle pass system.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like
I guess like I think just going back to the original point with whoever brought it up is I don't think CS:GO or Counter-Strike 2 or CS2, I don't even know what to go. We'll say CS2 for
CS2.
this. I don't think CS2 will ever have a battle pass system where it's just like in a regular ass month, right? They're just like, hey, we just have a battle pass and like you could just collect skins. I think how they do it with operation passes is the best way to do it. Obviously there's some difference between that because then it's all random and stuff like that and stuff. But I feel like if CSGO just continues to do with only operational passes, I feel like that's kind of the only way to implement like a true battle pass.
Yeah, it creates
we'll see when CS2 gets released.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously.
Okay, so I guess so another point I was going to make. So with Rocket League Battlepass, you have like a very like converged like idea. So like you have a high floor, kind of low ceiling. With CS, you have a really low floor and a really high ceiling.
What do you mean?
Because like with CS, all the Battle Pass things you get are random drops. Like so when the average went, you don't get the op fade at level 70. You roll for the op fade with 5 stars.
Yeah,
right.
And
For Rocket League, you get a guaranteed number of cosmetics that are always going to be the same. And then once you hit the rare variants, that's where the variants come in. But so like Rocket League has a very high floor for their Battle Pass, as in like you know all the skins you're going to get, and you can get really good things past your base skins. CSGO is like, how much you want to gamble?
Yeah, because you can even buy stars too.
Yeah, you can buy stars and like high roll super hard, and like it creates more, I guess, hype moments. But I'm speaking from somebody who's been in all the CS Battle Pass. I've never really been past level 70 in Rocket League, so I don't know how hype you can get.
You can get pretty hyped because certain variants of skins can get pretty expensive, especially after if there's a general like a car skin or whatever. There's like colored variants of them, and like titanium white's always really popular.
I can imagine,
yeah. So if you get like the white version of a certain skin after, like, you don't get any of those colored variants up to tier 70. If you see a titanium white on something, even if it's something really bad, you made like a couple dollars, And if you get it on like a really rare item, that can be, inverted, stuff like that. You can get inverted versions of items. So if you get like a titanium white inverted something, normally you're making like $10. Obviously, Rocket League's trading is a lot cheaper than CS. But in Rocket League, $10 for one item.
I was listening to hear like you just made like $500, but like
$10.
$6.
So,
That's 2 cases.
The whole Rocket League system's a lot different, right? Because you have different kind of, like, the most expensive items in Rocket League are a lot less expensive than CS2. They're still really expensive.
Yeah, of course.
I guess the most expensive item that I currently know of is like $2,000 in Rocket League.
Okay,
nice.
Yeah, that's
but like,
reasonable.
it's
that's
like
that's like a high tier, or that's like a low tier butterfly and like a high tier.
Exactly. So like, but you're making like $10, from something you got for 15 at the start, and you get all this other stuff.
I guess it's kind of the difference between.
You can actually pay for itself with Rocket League's Battle Pass.
I guess it's kind of the difference between like collecting skins because you're like, oh, I'm gonna resell it. I don't know if you're part of that.
I'm not part of that. No.
But like, as I mentioned earlier, I recently traded for a 99% classic fade knife. And I got it for like $1,000. So now I'm just hoping that the CS20 case will fall out of rotation. I think it's in rare rotation right now, so it's like kind of getting there. But like the instant that falls out of rotation, like, and then like cases start getting sold, they're gonna become more expensive. Like that knife is gonna jump in profit. And,
right.
I'm having it. I'm hoping maybe someday I'll be able to have a nice sapphire butterfly knife and living in Beverly Hills. But
with your dream wife. Your dream job.
All from this. But like, I guess it's more of that aspect where. I think I differ from your opinion just because I'm more of the aspect of like I'm getting these skins because they look nice, but I can also resell them at some point.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with the Battle Pass. though. Once the Battle Pass, like, depending on how they do it, right? If it goes out of rotation, like if you have like 4 or 5 months to do this Battle Pass, you get some of those rare skins. And once that Battle Pass stops being available, those drops stop coming, the skins will go up in value just because they're no longer being dropped, right?
Well, I guess that's the more of the aspect of the operational Battle Pass as well. It's like
exactly same thing with operations.
Yeah, like operations I think are cool because first of all they make some really good missions for Operation Battle Passes because you have those missions where you for the last one at least you infiltrated.
No, those you're thinking of a Broken Fang, not Riptide.
Oh, was that far away?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
My favorite one. I love the mission where I had to kill 20 chickens on Dust 2.
Yeah.
Deathmatch, running around the map, shooting the
I don't remember what it was. But I forget which one was the last one, but like the last one didn't have any of those like special missions.
Oh my god, I feel so old. But, okay, well then talking about Shattered Fang or Shattered Web. Oh my god. Talking about Shattered
take your
Web.
medication, Grandpa.
Like Shadow Web, Broken Fang,
Yeah.
and Hydra all had like those missions.
Yeah, but like I just thought those were cool. Like you got to
They're cool.
I think I did
two
them.
of them.
I did them all with Annie actually. Like I did all of them exclusively with Annie, and we would go for the 3-star completions. But like it was cool to just drop in with a friend. You would kill a couple of the worst AI ever made, and then you would move on. Like
Dude, I think that was like the first time I like played with Annie. She didn't even call me on Discord. Just invited me on Steam to a lobby to play a defense mission. I'm like, who is this? And I was like, oh, I know. Oh, I know who you are. And then we did the missions. Didn't even talk to each other.
Yeah, the missions were super easy, but they were pretty fun. And then you had like the really lame voice acting too, where it was just some guy going, "Get to the briefcase," or something like that. You know, like
This is the Phoenix compound.
yeah. You know,
The elevator's being broken, and then they've got the guy in the back who's like, I am gonna.
yeah. I'm going to blow up the compound now.
What you know about that guy is not true. then it's like, I remember like the biggest thing for me because this was like, oh my god, that's the guy who does the voice in Danger Zone. I was like, oh my god, he's a good guy, I thought, and then that was like the end of it.
Oh my
It
god,
stopped.
I love the Danger, but he just goes like, "Thank you for participating in the experiment."
Thank you for participating. Your contributions have been noted.
It's like you're welcome. Like I will take my check in the mail.
He doesn't talk about it. You just find like a life or death situation. He talks as if you just like helped him pick up a grocery that he dropped or something.
You could just put it on the table. Is that a bomb? Whatever.
Good job. You did a good job.
Actually,
I'm proud of you.
to bring it back a little bit. Actually, that made me think of an interesting thing. Do you guys think Danger Zone is going to be better in CS2?
Fuck no.
Do you think they're going to do anything to change the game?
I played. There was like a week, a couple weeks ago, like maybe 3-4 months ago, that I played like a bunch of Danger Zone the entire
Why?
week because I was like, you know what, I want to play a battle royale because I haven't played battle royales in a while. Counter-Strike, I like Counter-Strike, and Danger Zone has a pretty good system. I played it for a whole week and I did not stop playing. This was like early May.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hated it. It was so bad.
Granted,
What about it was bad?
Just everything.
Well,
Okay.
it's a mode
Okay,
that.
then what about it was good?
Okay, what about it was good is when I won.
It was CS:GO.
I won. When I won, it was awesome.
I think it
loved
does a lot
when
of
I
things
won.
that battle royales like haven't really like
Yeah,
done.
it's
Well,
a very unique
When it first came out, it was very unique. I think some games have kind of
Yeah,
like,
the whole idea of coming back into the game was kind of pioneered by
some games have been kind of inspired by the features that have been in Danger Zone, which
Yeah.
I think is really cool. But yeah, no, I think. So you don't think they're going to do anything to the mode?
I don't think so. I think Danger Zone was a thing that they worked up. They've released 2 like major updates for Danger Zone, which was when it first came out, and then it was the second update where they fixed everything and made it slightly better. Because when Danger Zone first came out, it was a 3-person game mode.
No, they had 3 different queues. They had solos, duos, and trios.
Okay. So yeah, it was
then they
even more of a
removed-
shit show than I remember. Yeah, and then they removed it all to then being down to duos only.
Yeah.
First of all, name a game other than Rocket League that has trios and Apex Legends.
Oh, I was gonna say Apex.
Yeah.
Warzone.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But even
Warzone
then, that's such
actually
like a
max of 3?
weird team
No, Warzone can go up to
structure.
4, but there's a Warzone specific trio and quads like queue.
Yeah, that's what I liked about one thing that PUBG did good was there was 3-man squad, 3-man squad, then solo squad, and then I think
anymore.
really
It's quads.
kill your.
It's singles, duos, and then 4-player, but you don't have to fill for 4-player.
That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
man. Well, I like the 3-man squad thing where you could just put 3 people
I
and
did
go
too.
into a squad.
That's what I don't understand is I don't get what's so difficult about adding in just one more, the one more that's just the 3.
Yeah,
Because like there's been multiple times where I've been playing PUBG with friends and I only have 3 friends and we have to do either a 4 squad where we fill a random or we normally just don't fill.
Fill a random and shoot him in the head the minute you get a gun.
No, but then you'll get banned like that.
yeah, it's like that time when you stepped to that guy's molly when he threw it.
Yeah. What was that? We were playing some game. I remember, and
It was-
it was. And then we randomly like.
It was
it was the start of the game, the round, and he like accidentally TK'd someone. I shot him in the head instantly, and then the next round, he just runs at me with an MP9, kills me, and gets banned.
That was so funny.
Yeah, I know. I felt bad.
Whoever that guy was,
if
I'm
you were
sorry.
that guy, we feel really bad.
I feel sorry about that, but oh my god, you mowing me down at the start of the round was fucking
Yeah, like
hilarious.
you had no qualms about like getting like banned. Like Aidan waited to kill you so he didn't get banned.
It was a nuke, man.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was the most friendly nuke game I think I've ever played. Dude. I swear to God.
Average nuke player.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were saying with Danger Zone, though, the big issue with Danger Zone right now, I think, is it's such a stale game mode.
I think it's just silly.
And it's also filled with cheaters.
It is pretty,
And the
cheater
ranks,
infested.
it's cheater infested, and the rank system is terrible because you can just load up Danger Zone rank the minute you get into the game. You know, I don't think there's like a.
You need to be level 2.
Really? You do for Danger Zone?
It's like the same thing.
Because it's all competitive. It's all under the one
Yeah.
realm.
But the thing is
if we're wrong, yell at us in the comments.
yeah, but it's still like I remember I haven't had blatant cheaters in Counter-Strike in any of my comp matches in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Which I've been very thankful for, and now it's just me schizophrenically asking if the guy on the other team is cheating. So I kind of liked it when they were blatant because it made me feel less insane.
I don't know. All you do is like you kill by him in like a slightly annoying way. You're like, and you just report him. you report him and then just move on.
My matchmaking was a very good idea.
Yeah, very.
But
cool.
with Danger Zone, though, when I played for that week, I had someone backwards bunny hopping, flying around the map, shoot me in the head with a scout while looking at the floor. I have never had that.
No,
in
that's a normal
Counter-Strike.
player. That's
He's really good. He's actually
It was actually just Flom.
he's on Navi. But like, I've never the matchmaking system is cheater infested. The rank system is god awful because it's like I win a game and I don't go up, but then I place 3rd place and I rank up, and then I get I remember I had a game where I got 12 kills. Like that was insane. I had an insane game and I placed I think 2nd or 1st place. I don't really.
This is a short match, right?
No. I'm
I'm
talking Danger Zone.
Oh, you mean Danger Zone? Okay.
Yeah. So I had a great performance on the game. And I didn't rank up, but then the next game after I land 3rd place and they're like, "Here's your promotion."
Well, okay, so
they rank you up 4 ranks.
To the part of Danger
arbitrary.
Zone. So when you die in Danger Zone, you can just queue immediately. So your ranks don't change until the game you just left finishes.
Yeah,
so it's
I
like
get that.
you can buffer 4 games before your rank actually
but
changes.
that's so I think that's such a bad system. There's no communication with your rank at all. Or I feel like even then, why does the performance of the lobby after you've been killed change your performance up to the point that you're currently at? It has the ranks of everybody in the lobby, and it should base your performance not off of the current performance. Because if I play against somebody who is the Howling Alpha, which is the global of the thing of Danger Zone, and he's shit at the game, then it shouldn't impact. It's still he's a highly rated player, I feel, to an extent, but maybe that's not a great system for MM. But regardless, I think the system that they have for MM does not work at all.
I feel like this conversation extends into your opinion on matchmaking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I think that's kind of the aspect though that's difficult with ranking. What's it called? That's the difficulty with ranking Battle Royale games.
Yeah, Battle Royale
because
games.
Apex, as Alex knows, me and Jack have been playing a ton of Apex ranked recently, just for fun, to be honest, because it just adds a little bit more to the actual game of seriousness. And I haven't played ranked since probably season 2, so I started at rookie, and for me to climb from rookie to bronze, it's been 6 days and we've won about 7 games in total, and I'm still bronze 2, which is the 3rd lowest rank besides rookie division.
It's because you figure out how the matchmaking system treats it. So the Apex rank system, it doesn't actually care how many kills you get. It cares where your spot places at. So Jack was talking about, he has a friend who's in Diamond Masters level who just doesn't fight anyone until the last circle, and then just dies, and he gets plus 100 rank points.
Yeah,
which is
so dumb.
which is an entire rank in Apex.
For context, I dropped down onto a hot drop with Jack, and we killed. By the end, we both in combination had 6 kills. We were still minus the base amount of rank points.
Yeah, it's because you don't start gaining ranks until the top half of the lobby.
Once you hit level 10, then it gives you points for being the top 10, and then on top of that, it gives you all your points for your kills. So So it's only once you hit 10 remaining squads that you actually get any of your points.
Why?
And even then, it's like you don't even get.
I don't know.
And even then, like the points you get from another squad across the map dying is like nothing compared to you wiping the squad yourself. It's like insane.
I don't know. It's really stupid. I don't understand it, but like I also think it's kind of hard to like, if you are in the topmost rank in Apex, like if you have a shitty drop, you're just gonna die. Like that's just kind of how it is. So I feel like that's kind of the issue with ranking
A battle royale
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Danger Zone kind of like I don't know. Granted, I've never played Apex, but they do. How much of a respawn system do they have?
Oh, they have a respawn.
It's a pretty generous one.
Yeah, once you die first, it's 5 seconds, and then you respawn if your teammate is still alive. If you die a second time, then it's 10 seconds, and then if you die a third time, it's 15 seconds. And then normally by the third time you die, they kind of disable respawns.
Oh, okay.
So
Because Danger Zone was really interesting.
Apex is the res
Yeah,
system.
they have the res. I think that's what he was asking about.
Oh, yeah.
The
they don't have,
res
like,
beat.
Well, no. Also respawn system
Oh.
because with Counter-Strike, Danger Zone has a really decent respawn system. They've got, I think it's 5 seconds for a teammate if you have a teammate in the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
5
they say.
seconds. Yeah, 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
15.
And, yeah, it does
15,
the
and then I
respawn
think
things
it's like a
in
minute.
waves, which if
Oh,
you,
right.
yeah, so like every 5 seconds, everybody who's dead just respawns. Or
Yeah.
is that or is it by person who dies?
In
It's
Danger
like
Zone?
a certain amount of people die,
Or
and then a wave
is it
happens.
Oh, you were talking about Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about Apex.
No.
I was
so
like, wow, the
so
Apex system's very
well,
similar to
No,
Counter-Strike.
that
So
was the Counter-Strike.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but no, is it like if you die, then you have 5 seconds to respawn, or is it waves? I don't remember.
For Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
No, 5 seconds and you're back in.
Okay, so it's
Well,
not
unless
waves.
you don't, that you need a teammate alive.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't
Well,
get
I was wondering if it was waves or not. 'Cause
With
what is it?
how
Yeah. How does Apex work?
With how Apex does it is, first of all, you go down. So you have a down state. CSGO
Yeah.
doesn't have a down state. And I think it's, oh God, I don't know.
I don't remember.
It's like 10 to 15 seconds in
Yeah.
down state. And if you get rezzed, it's like a 5 second res. If you get rezzed by a teammate in that down state, you just get up and you just keep playing.
Yeah.
Then if you either get killed while in a down state or your time runs out, you get put into a banner state. So now you're completely out of the game. Like you can't play, you can't get res, but you can get your banner picked up, and then you go to a res tower and you use that banner to do. But with one of the newest recent updates, how banners work now is if you don't have a support character on your team, and your banner runs out, like you're out for the rest of the game. But if you have a support player on your team, you can craft that banner within the crafting system in the game.
Okay.
Like it kind of makes sense because it forces someone to actually be like, oh, I should play support. I mean, luckily Alex plays support.
I only play
For
support.
Apex for us, so like it hasn't been really an issue, but like it actually puts thought. Apex recently did do this correctly, where they now have like I think it's like 4 or 5 different types. There's like skirmishers, there's controllers, there's like that, and like every single one of those different factions of how people play is like really well thought out, and it really shows importance that you should have 3 different, like your full squad should be 3 different types.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
I think that's really interesting because the way Counter-Strike does it, there's no classes, there's no role-based stuff, and I think class systems are a completely different discussion.
Yeah.
I mean that's like,
but-
but that's like the CS way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Counter-Strike's system of like roles is like very like special because it's not like
Not a forced.
It's not rigid. Yeah.
Where in games like Valorant, Overwatch.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the
biggest.
biggest things I saw in a video recently about the gripe with Valorant compared to CS:GO is Valorant, you're locked in as an agent the entire time. Like you could be getting hard countered by the other team because they're just playing operators that are just good against you, and you can do nothing about it. Like you just have to keep playing. Whereas CS, like, oh, they know smoke lineups, so we should probably maybe throw util into the smoke now. Like you can change up that kind of
Rush
variety.
B.
Or just tried and true, right?
Yeah, it's like a big thing where it's like I saw a video talking about this, and I've written about this on like my personal blog. But it's like the thing that makes Counter-Strike like really cool is because you're not locked into a role. It's like everybody has the opportunity to be the best player on the team at any point.
And what's awesome about that as well is that's all of the roles that were created that are currently played were completely community created.
Yeah.
None of that was forced by Valve. Those were completely like the IGL, the AWPer, the kind of support, rifler, and lurker. Those are kind of like your standard roles. And that was all community created, and those can all be moved around and changed based on team. There's no,
I mean, most teams now don't. I don't think they even run support. They normally run 2 riflers.
Yeah.
Well, the riflers are sort of like weave in and out of supporting each other, so it's
Yeah.
like a very like dynamic role now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they call them like support.
No.
Like,
But
just
that's
to Aiden's case,
Yeah.
I don't
But
know if they call
what's
them.
really interesting, I mean, there was a time where it was called support. But what's really interesting though about that is that changed with the game. People evolved in it. What the thing with Valorant is no matter what classes they create, that role will exist until they say we're not doing that role anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing that guy does will ever be the thing that guy does.
Yeah, like,
until they change it.
Yeah, because I think they
Not
have.
a bad thing though, but
Yeah, it's definitely how the game is played. Like, because
Yeah.
like in Valorant, I'm pretty sure it's like they have smokes and then they have.
They have smokers, molly agents, flash agents, and it's like so the thing in Valorant I've noticed is that the 3 like intrinsic like very like fundamental utilities is a smoke, a flashbang, and a Molotov. No agent in Valorant actually has all 3.
Yeah.
So it's like because of how it's set up, you have to have people who are good at, or you have to have a team composition that can do all 3. Otherwise, you're just gonna be missing one for the entire game.
Yeah.
Which,
And I guess like to that aspect, like it's supposed to promote like a more of like, hey, we're playing as a team and stuff like that. But like no one in Valorant plays that. I think the small amount of Valorant I played, it was like 3 duelists, 1 healing, and then 1 guy that had a flashbang. And I'm pretty sure that flashbang guy was even a duelist himself.
Yeah,
Because he was more of like an attack than he was like an actual flash.
That's the thing that's really weird about playing Valorant is you have people in those roles who then try and play like a hybrid of somebody attacking and playing. Like in Counter-Strike, you have like the term combat opping, which is people like Simple, Shiro, kind of the more Kenny-esque type people. Then you have a more safe opper, which I would say is more like Brokey or somebody like who plays in the back line and plays more supportive towards the team. But in Valorant, when you have people who try to exit that role, they get punished significantly. Because if you're the person with flashbangs, you got to be the guy who is doing the flashbangs, or you're all fucked.
yeah, like in Valorant, if your flash guy gets picked off early by an op, what do you do?
Yeah,
It's
you
not
don't
like
have
you can pick
flashes.
his arm up and shoot it for him. He's dead and you're fucked.
Yeah, so I will say, I guess we're talking about Valorant, but like I guess there are games I think that lend themselves really well because we're talking from a perspective of a attack shooter, which like has like these kind of mechanics and stuff. But like there are games like MOBAs, like like either first person MOBAs like Overwatch or just MOBAs themselves like League, which I think are like
Overwatch is not a MOBA. It's okay.
MOBA like.
MOBA, yeah.
No.
It's a class-based shooter, which
It's a
is
class-based-
a shooter that
regardless,
forces
It's a
people.
TF2 club.
Yeah.
I feel like those work a lot better because so like in what is it in like CS:GO and like Valorant, like they're trying to sort of push this idea of like it's a lot of like snappy like shooty gameplay, which like you don't like every person needs to be able to do the shooty, but because of how weird the roles are and like there's like a lot of role clashes and stuff for stuff that doesn't happen, it doesn't work out as well. But like in games that aren't like as mechanically intensive in like the shooting mechanics in a way, I think like more well-defined roles work better to sort of give somebody like an out, because I know what is
Rainbow Six Siege, I think, does that very well.
Yeah.
Where it's like a lot of that game is dependent on like having pretty good aim and like knowing angles and corners and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, like granted there are some operators like Lion, like oh you can't move for 5 seconds, like that kind of sucks. But like
Valorant, take notes. Those are great mechanics that your game should have.
Yeah, imagine stopping people from moving. But like, no, but like, there are operators in Rainbow Six and stuff like that. But like, I don't feel like any of them, granted, when they're first released, yes, but I don't think any of them truly have an upper advantage over another one. Like, there's counters. Like, you'll always have. There's the one that scans the footprints, and like he's always a natural counter to Cav because Cav moves around and stuff like that. But like that's just how that stuff kind of works.
Yeah, I think what Siege does that I think makes it have a more interesting dynamic then is because in between rounds you get to swap characters. So it's like you're not forever like what Valorant shows Valorant is that if you're hard countered by the enemy team's agent in Valorant, you're stuck. But in Siege, if this guy likes playing. We'll say like mute, you can be like, okay, well I know who counters. I don't know why I picked mute.
You also
Thatcher.
You can do that in Overwatch too. You can actually swap mid.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So like the swapping part I think makes like class-based shooters and like roles way more interesting because then it lets you like you play the whole game as support, but then you whip out like you play your whole game as like Doc on Siege, but then you just whip out like flipping Tachanka or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, they never expected that.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting about Valorant in the situation that they're in, where it's a very stale meta.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the big things that's going on with Valorant, is where things are very, very closed in and hard to play.
Mm-hmm.
But then they've got, I mean, there was that clip of XOC going that. It's like hard to watch, hard to understand.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's like a very class-based shooter. And it's also on a round-by-round basis.
Mm-hmm.
So then, what's nice about Overwatch and like TF2 is it's a consistent game. You're playing.
Yeah, you respawn.
You respawn. It's like constantly a payload happening. There's no round by round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
so
makes
then,
it's sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off, but
no.
it just to like quickly, it feels like it makes the attack like it's actually happening. Like
Right.
it feels like you're actually attacking the payload. Or something
yeah, and you're like
that.
playing as a like a unit. Like there's even 2 against like I think there's I mean, granted I don't play Valorant. I haven't played Valorant in 2 years, but I think to an extent there's a little more strategy in Overwatch where you need to pull your team back and you need to regroup and you need to strategize and play within those roles. While in Valorant it's like by round 4, if things aren't going well, someone on your team is pissed at you and you can't change roles. And you're fucked.
Yeah, you're like, man, like if only, like, too bad I'm stuck with my flashes and smokes. Oh no, too bad I'm stuck with my flashes and mollies. My smoke guy can't smoke anything.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I played Valorant to try to in college. Valorant was a big thing, and like in my first year, I was just trying to meet friends and stuff like that. Like I genuinely tried to play some Valorant with them, and like. To be honest, just coming from my 2,000 hours of CSGO, I think I just insta-locked Jet every single time. And like, I didn't use her abilities. Like, I literally just shot the gun.
Yeah. And I think every time I think, too, that I've played with Jet's abilities, I've gotten shot in the head somehow.
Yeah.
Like, the smokes are really weird temporary things. I think, and that's another thing, the duelists in Valorant fit into really, really weird fucking categories.
Yeah.
Where they're like semi-movement abilities, but also and then if they're not movement abilities, they're really temporary niche support. Like a very small smoke grenade or a flash that works for 2 seconds.
I gotta talk about, I don't know the name of the operator, maybe it's Gecko or something like that.
Oh, they can spawn the dude?
Yes, in what conceivable universe is it okay that you can spawn a minion to do your job for you?
That's my tactical gameplay.
Like,
it's like you want to know where your post plan is. Send the gecko into defuse and take the bullet for you and just
That's
trade
like
him.
me playing CS. Like I'm on terrorist side and I drop the bomb and then I spawn a terrorist bot to go plant
I
the
create
bomb.
a child.
Yeah,
who
like-
runs into the fray.
You get your 3 kills. You call your RCXD. You can drive it in.
But that's like I mean, it goes back, it harkens all the way back to that tweet when Valorant was still coming out, when it was called what, Project A or something.
Yeah.
And it was that someone wrote that tweet. Utility in Valorant will not kill people. It will only give you tactical advantages.
Yeah.
And then the game came out, and it's like, okay, fine, it's okay. And then like
Oh
that
wow!
August
a flash
came out.
that tracks me.
Yeah, and then in August they like dropped Killjoy. So okay, so you have a bomb that you can turn on anywhere in the map, and then I can place a turret and play Team Fortress 2 and then I get my ult where I can just say, fuck you, this is my side of the map, and if you're in here, I can run up to you, wiggle my ass, and shoot you in the head. It is inconceivable how
very
they
nice.
thought that this was a great thing.
Going
It
back to what you
still
said,
is an issue.
The new agent can drop a thing that like forces you to crouch walk.
Yeah. Oh, and then
It's messed up.
what I was talking about earlier is there is an operator that has a flashbang. It's the whatever the animal operator.
The bird,
is.
the sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has the dumb birds, dude.
She has the bird, and then she also has the ult, which is the squid. The squid will follow you
Oh
through
my
walls.
God. And the bigger bullshit too about that too is the flashbang tells you whether it flashbangs.
Yeah, like,
It's like what?
yeah, where's the skill?
There is, yeah, exactly. Like that was like a huge thing I needed.
Is there a person behind this wall? Give me a minute.
Okay, now we can take sight. You know, but that
We're
was like,
clear.
like even if you're like looking away from it, or if you catch it at like the corner of your eye, it still makes a sound.
Yeah, even if you're not blinded, you're just like, the effect on your screen comes up. You're like, oh well, I'm here now.
Yeah, they know I'm here. I know they're coming. I'm fucked. It's like the three things that go through your mind. And that's like the complete issue with Valorant is you're locked into these roles, and then those roles have, some of the roles are bullshit abilities. And it feels more of a ability game than a gunplay game. Like, it's completely fine to have Molotovs, to have grenades, because those give you util chip damage. And area denial. That's basic stuff. But to have a little bot that you can place that targets you and shoots you in the head individually.
In a 5v5 game.
In a 5v5 game is bullshit.
Yeah,
Or
in
if you
a
create
bigger game or where there's respawns, there's not that big of an issue.
Yeah, like
with it.
Overwatch, it works with Torbjorn because
Yeah.
you know he like places it down and that's like his thing, and then like you have Engineer from TF2.
I feel like his turret is like not as like oppressive as Killjoy's can be sometimes.
no.
Yeah, very much so.
What's ridiculous about Killjoy's turret is it's the same thing. I mean, if they ever brought a turret to Counter-Strike, and in the one in Danger Zone, you suffer from the same thing. When you get shot, you slow down in Counter-Strike, which only increases the chance of you getting shot more.
I mean, granted, like
So-
with Counter-Strike, like you can't operate, like you can't have a friendly turret. It's like a turret against the whole world kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, in the turret in Counter-Strike, you get shot by
Yeah.
it and you slow down. And then it becomes a thing where it reveals your position and you're screwed. I think that's what they tried to go for with it, but it's just some bullshit mechanic.
Yeah,
I know.
Like, that's another thing that I absolutely hate. Cypher. Cypher was such a bullshit thing when it first came out, and it still continues to be. Granted, I haven't played Valorant in a year and a half, but when I played, the fact that I can just put a thing on the wall and that tells me whether you're coming around the corner is bullshit.
Or for like it's also like just for intel if they shoot it too, because you're like, even if they can see it and shoot it, you're like, okay, well I know someone's
Well,
there.
now
Like,
Well, yeah,
Someone's
that
flanking,
one. 3 shots and one of my things is gone. I wonder where they are. Like,
It's ridiculous, and it like tells you on the map that this one was broken there. It's like, that's not attack shooter. Attack shooter is you playing strategy and information around the position, and you're working with your team. There's not inherent things built into the abilities that allow you to play certain positions.
yeah, I guess and I guess my thoughts about like to anyone who might say like it's like a thing of knowledge, agent knowledge, and like that can help, like adds another dimension to the game. It's a lot of agent abilities give you so much free intel that it's like,
Yeah. Like-
I feel like even if they tone it down, like if like they could tone it down, and I would still kind of not even be okay with it. Like a lot of stuff that gives you like flipping Sova arrows that just show the whole outline of the dude, and you're like, okay, well now I know
You
exactly.
shoot them through the wall. It just gives you cheats.
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that. It's like sure, but it's like I don't know. I feel like they could do it in a way where it didn't feel like you're getting so much free information. And obviously, I'm speaking from we're all like very enfranchised Counter-Strike players who like probably have our own opinions about like that stuff. But as somebody who does value how much skill it takes to and intuition you need in Counter-Strike, having an agent ability that just takes all that decision making away or all that like thought process away is like doesn't seem fair to me.
I know. Like even if I put all my biases aside and say Valorant, I'm not gonna say that, but we'll say Valorant is an okay game. But even if I put all my biases aside, like it still just comes down to the fact that like whatever the newest operator, or it's not that, it's agents, right?
Agent.
Whatever new agents release, like they're going to be the meta. Everyone's gonna insta-lock them, and then you're also gonna get like in casual, you're gonna get a 5Q of duelist, and it's like, it's just not a lot of thought actually goes into the whole like strategic aspect, I feel, of Valorant, and like I think that's where its main downfall is. And I'm not saying CS:GO is any better. Listen, I've played my fair share of unranked games where and listen, I'll be the first to admit I don't use util at all because I just don't understand it. But
this guy spent like all of the SEA, like an entire season, throw like 2 smoke grenades and maybe a flashbang.
That's the benefit of CS2. Now you're gonna be able to learn smokes.
yeah,
fair enough.
and I don't play like the smartest either, but like even though I don't use util or I don't use everything that CS:GO gives me, like I'm still able to play with a team because I have half a brain to be able to aim at least okay, and like if I'm not aiming too well, then I just buy the op and I get the one shot. Like, I will be the first to admit I will op crunch whenever I am down. Like it's.
But that's like a huge thing, I think, that Valorant struggles with.
Yeah.
Is the Also, they keep adding agents. Eventually, that thing at the bottom of the screen is going to spin around in your monitor.
Have you seen the Dota 2 character selector?
It's probably shit.
There's like over 100 like characters in Dota 2. let me bring it up.
But that's like a massive issue with, like, I think kind of to an extent class-based shooters is you're just going to keep making more agents, and you got to make the new agents better than the previous to get people to want to play them. And when you do that, you invalidate the old guys and make the new guys better, and then you need to go change shit around, and it's just this giant count and mouse game where eventually you've got, because there's no world where I mean, I think Overwatch does it and Valorant does it, where they create a new agent every single update,
Yeah.
or like
Most of the time,
major
Overwatch
update,
does, yeah.
like season, I would
No,
say.
well,
But, like,
Overwatch has skip seasons where they don't introduce
Okay.
new characters.
Overwatch like can get away with it.
Overwatch can get away with it, but Valorant, it's like ingrained in.
As in like it doesn't. I guess our opinion that it doesn't hurt the game as much as
As Valorant.
as Valorant was.
Yeah.
I can't.
Like,
I will.
well, because Valorant's newest
okay.
operator.
Better word for that, as in like it's. I'm trying to find the right word for it because I feel like with how Valorant's balance is, it just feels a lot worse to be like cheesed out by something.
Yeah, they're
in
too
Valorant than
'cause
Overwatch.
Overwatch
I
is
actually have an
different.
opposite opinion. Like
Fair enough.
Like when Brig was first released.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Overwatch,
Yeah.
she
Break was a mistake.
Yeah, she was so openly oppressive that just if you didn't have a Brig on your team, you lost and you just couldn't play the game.
We won so many. We almost won so many open league games because Connor just
Yeah.
just hard sweated as Brig, dude.
Yeah, Brig was a mistake.
But like, Overwatch doesn't have a thing where if I throw down my ult, it will cocoon someone, and if it reaches this one
Concuss.
specific point,
Okay.
Yeah.
no, the cocoon.
Oh, cocoon. That
Yeah,
fucking
sorry,
thing.
I was having a stroke.
Like
saying
literally
that.
put someone in a cocoon.
It puts someone in a cocoon, and if they reach a certain point in the ult, they just insta die, no matter what health they're at.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. Like there's, I
There's
think
like
POV.
Reaper ult though. I mean,
Reaper ult.
No, like this will. If I was playing Valorant and I threw down my ult as this character, I don't know who this character is, whatever the new one is, and I have like a solo insta duel, like duelist, I can trap them in a cocoon. If none of their other teammates help them out, they will just insta die. They could be at 100 health, 100 shields, and they will die instantly.
It comes down though to 100% because they're completely two different games.
Yeah.
Like Overwatch, the only thing that Overwatch and Valorant share are the fact that they're both class-based shooters. Because what's nice about Overwatch is, Brig was a mistake because they made a jack of all trades.
yeah.
They made someone who could heal people while being a tanky shield with a good DPS. That's a jack of all trades where you need it on your team.
Seems pretty good, yeah.
You know, so but with Valorant, and then you needed that on your team, but they like patched it out, they fixed it. I think honestly, Overwatch meta. I haven't played it in a couple months now, but I don't think it's.
I've been playing.
We should have our the person
How's
playing
the
Overwatch share
Overwatch
comment
meta
on that.
happening right now?
Is it awful or is it fun?
It's right now the current meta is shifted a lot towards hit scan. So things with Cassidy, Widow. Recently they're playing. Well, they nerfed Widow and they've nerfed and they've buffed Soldier recently. So Widow no longer has a much higher fall off now. Widow has been the meta in Overwatch for actually quite a while, and it's because she has the ability to one-shot anyone. And if you have just a good enough Widow on one team, you can't win. Just period. If you have a good enough Widow on one team, you just can't play against it because you just get one shot and you die and you can't play the game, which has been kind of pretty shitty as a meta for a while.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So the meta has kind of shifted towards more mid-range hit scan right now, and it's looking to be better. But yeah, the Overwatch metas recently have not been great because you either have Widow just being completely oppressive, or you have Sojourn or Ashe damage boosted by a Mercy one-shotting you anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, Mercy has been the problem right now with Overwatch is empowering characters to get one-shots really easily on
I feel
squishies.
I don't remember if this was like true, but I thought when they were removing CC, they also talking about removing like one shots. Is that true or?
They've been talking about doing a lot of things.
Fair enough.
They haven't done it.
Are we finally getting any semblance of a story mode?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. But there's also like they said they did remove CC in Overwatch 2, and now they've added CC back in.
That's really funny, isn't it?
Like the last patch, they added May's slow back. She used to.
They did?
Yeah, they added May's slow
What?
back. Cassidy, instead of having he used to have a flashbang in Overwatch 1. His nade went to a magnetic grenade that seeks you out like a fucking predator missile and just sticks to you and just kills you. Then they changed it, so now it sticks to you, deals less damage to you. Now it just slows you though.
Right. But they just gave him the flashbang.
They gave him the flashbang back, except now it has insane tracking.
Oh, okay. Much better.
And then,
what?
Yeah, and now Brig has her CC back.
She has her CC?
Yeah, only in her ultimate, and then
Okay.
she has like half of Reinhardt's shield, so her shield just grows like triple in size during her ultimate.
Oh my
and
God.
And she can CC you, and she can stun you.
I was like having even though like I kept getting screwed by like roll queue, I was like having like an okay time. I don't know if I'll have an okay time if I play again.
Yeah, the CC is back, and the hinder is, or that's what Cassidy's new flashbang is called. It's called the hinder grenade, and it's not as bad of a mechanic, but you still have like things like Sigma Rock, which is stun. You can Doomfist Punch, Ryan Charge. Now Brig in her ultimate. Now you have Mei Slow. Now you have Cast Flashbangs, and they've removed some CC, but they've added a lot back.
Yeah, it felt like they were like very thorough about what CC they got rid of when Overwatch 2 first came out. But
yeah, they've added. And now Mei and Cass are kind of in the meta.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that sounds very strong.
Yeah, Cassidy especially right now is very strong because he has a really good mid-range / long range with his, But so I mean that's the Overwatch meta right now, and Overwatch has had a lot of problems with their meta. Yeah, but so
keeping the recent news, which will be old news by the time this comes out. So we're gonna keep all the news out of here. So let's try to stick out of it. But like in Overwatch League itself, like has that sort of like change? Have you been watching Overwatch League at all?
I have not been following Overwatch League too much.
I was wondering if like I guess how the pros feel, because I imagine the pros were really geared to like this no CC game mindset, and now suddenly they have to deal with this crap again. So it's like, if I was a pro player, I'd feel a little cheated.
Yeah, that's from the kind of experience that I'm like getting through like a lot of the ex-pro streamers, stuff like that in Overwatch. It's not great, but it's not as bad as Overwatch once.
I can imagine, yeah. That's reasonable, yeah.
Once again, though, that's like completely an issue with a class-based shooter, because they change a big element of a class-based shooter, and it's going to change the game completely.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's part of that's like the thing with Overwatch is you always have new metas, right? And a lot of them are not great, but you get a lot of new metas that you don't get in CS and stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot like more like I guess wacky things they can toss in. Yeah, interesting. Like with CS, you try and like change like you remember. Do you guys remember like when they tried to change how spray patterns worked in CS?
Yes, and everyone shit on it, and they
reversed it in like half a day. I'm like, I've never seen Valve respond that quickly. It was so funny, but it's a CS has a meta that is like it feels like at the same time like very dynamic, but also very
not changing.
But it opens up a lot of self-made creativity,
right?
Which I think.
It feels like everyone can kind of make like a unique version of the meta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even though it's sort of all just iterations of the same thing, it's all different, which I think is a unique strength of the game. But I can definitely see why some people would sort of feel like they're just playing the same game every time.
Yeah.
Which that's that's an opinion.
That's the benefit of CS2.
Yeah. Exactly, an opinion that you can share with us in the comments if you want. And
or maybe if you're a Valorant enjoyer, you could tell us about how wrong we are in the comments, and we won't read it.
We will immediately report
all memes and all complaints aside. We always like the three of us personally don't like Valorant, but I mean, I'm not speaking for them, but I personally respect the devs who try to make the game good. But
they tried.
I mean, like it's a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a game. A bunch of people play it. They have a pro scene and stuff. So
it feels like the casual version of Counter Strike.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's like Riot knows what they're doing. Yeah, which is like. Yeah. You can say that, like that's like
I mean, as much as we hate it, they're still alive, they still have a pro scene, and they're still making money. So we're the poor ones that are sitting here at the table. So So, I mean,
So I think without further ado, we reached a good ending point of the discussion. We reached our quota of hating on Valorant podcast, and then we got some good discussions, some good opinions. I think it was great to have you here, Brian, because I think we would have just all been saying the exact same opinions without anyone
Man.
who could attempt
Valorant sucks.
Yeah. But
It sucks. There's a possibility.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So we thank you for watching this episode of the HFL podcast, and I think there's only one way we can end this episode, right, Aidan?
With a Counter-Strike case unboxing.
Yes.
Another case opening. Let's go.
Go.
I forgot to pre-buy the case, so let me go buy that.
We'll see you in a bit.
All right, we are back with our case. We are opening a revolver case
And a
today.
podcast case opening. Let's go.
Gold. That's all we want to
We're
see.
getting an
Wanna see.
R8 revolver.
Yeah, I
right
can't
now.
do
R8
the case balancing thing because I'm on a laptop. But
We're getting
Oh, do
fade,
you not
don't
have page
worry.
up, page down?
no, I don't look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you sound all right. Well, we're just gonna roll it. Ah, go.
Gold.
Gambling addiction.
Red.
Gold. Oh!
Hey, we got a purple. Oh, that's shit.
Better than a blue. Better than our
What is it?
Mike
Is
7
it?
last
What is
episode.
the wear?
It's a field
Field
test.
test.
Field test.
Oh.
We made money, guys.
Yeah.
Which one, the case or the key?
All right, well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate you
Most
watching. And
profitable podcast so far.
we hope you've enjoyed, and it means a lot if you made it to this point. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.